So my kid's teacher gave my kid a book. And the book is called R.I.P Eliza Hart. My kid pulls it out of her backpack yesterday. Looks like it's never even been opened. Like, it looks like it's a brand spanking new book. And I got frustrated immediately because one of the problems that we have with our kid is that she constantly brings new books home, but never reads them. Because there was a time a couple of years ago, she was getting a lot of books for birthdays and Christmases and things like that because she says she enjoys reading. And we would always see her carrying around the books. Cool. But what she would do is she would go read a few pages of one book and then go jump to another book and read a few pages and then jump to another book and read a few pages. And then when we would ask her what's happening in any of these books, she wasn't retaining any of the information. So last night when I see her pull out this book, I didn't even really look at it yet. But last night when I see it, I mentioned to her, I'm like, you got to take this back to the teacher. Because one of the books that she had been reading was the first Harry Potter book. And I was like, are you done with that book yet? No, I'm not. Okay, look. So I established this last night. But until you finish Harry Potter, you don't bring home another book. Like, you need to finally finish a goddamn book. And she was a little frustrated, but she understood. And then I go flipping through this book, and I notice in like the last chapter, and kind of these notes at the end of it, it has the suicide prevention hotline. And the book is called R.I.P Eliza Hart. And I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. What the hell is this book about? But I didn't think that much into it because I've already told her the book has to go back, and she's already agreed. There's no point in making a bigger deal out of this. Well, then come this morning, as my wife is dropping off the kid at school, my wife asked her about Harry Potter, and my kid was like, well, I'm not really that into it anymore. So my wife assuming, okay, well, if you want to switch books, that's fine. We're going to stick with what Dad said. You have to finish this book. If you're going to start, like, you need to take one book and finish the damn thing. Like, you have to. So she calls me and lets me know about it, and that's when I was like, oh, crap. Do you know what that book's about? And she said, no. So I'm going to read you guys the description. Mind you, my child's 10 years old, all right? When Eliza Hart, the most popular girl at Ventana Ranch boarding school, is found dead on the cliffs outside her dormitory, Ellie Sokoloff is determined to figure out what happened to her. After all, Eliza was Ellie's childhood best friend. Never mind that ever since Ellie arrived at school, Eliza has spread terrible rumors about her, calling her a liar and a stalker, when all Ellie wanted to do was rekindle their old friendship. Or that Ellie's claustrophobia limits where she can go and what she can do. Or that Ellie's suitmate, Sam, is the only one who will help her. Because to everyone else, Ellie looks like the top suspect. Can Ellie clear her name and solve the mystery behind Eliza's death? Her hunt for the truth will uncover secrets she never imagined, sending her deep into her own memories for her childhood with Eliza Hart. Spoiler alert on this book, by the way. The girl kills herself. So the more I thought about it this morning, the more uncomfortable it made me that my child's teacher would give her this book. My kid is 10. Okay, thank you. You guys are starting to agree with me. Okay. Yeah, my kid is 10. And then I looked up the age appropriate for this book, and it's recommended 14. So yeah, this is way too much for a 10-year-old. So apparently my wife has already contacted the school and let them know, get that book out of her hands and give her a different book. And I'm fine with that. Now, I don't think that there needs to be anything made, like this teacher doesn't need to be fired because she gave her this book or anything like that. We don't need to jump to these massive conclusions, but I do feel we need to have a sit down with the teacher to be like, why would you think this is appropriate? Because I don't think she realized the magnitude of what it is that she was doing. You can ask out loud, Tyler. It's fine.
What grade is 10 years old?
Because you got to remember, hold on, because you got to remember this goes up as an audio podcast as well. So it helps if you chime in. But Tyler did ask what grade is 10 years old. So she's in 4th grade.
I'm trying to remember what I was reading in 4th grade.
We'll just go into the chat here. Frank says, isn't that one of the books that school districts are trying to ban? Ortiz says, man, at 10, I think we read Holes. Isn't that the one they turned into a movie with Shia LaBeouf?
Yes.
Nightmare says, that sounds heavy for a 10-year-old. Chanel says, good on you. The teacher needs some teaching. Ortiz says, the topic of suicide really should be reserved for older students. And that's what I thought. Okay, so I'm not completely crazy on this. Now, look, suicide is something that's very close to me. I have had people close to me who have attempted suicide and failed. I've had people who have been close to me that have attempted suicide and finished the task. Like I guess, I hate using the word successful, but they're no longer with us. And I'll poke fun and I'll joke about certain things because especially when it's a really heavy topic, that's my way of coping with it. I never mean it to degrade somebody or bring somebody down or make it a point of, ha, 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 I'm going to laugh at you because of this horrible thing that's going on. But this is something that definitely needs to be discussed here because this, I think, was a major faux pas on this teacher's part. But again, I just want to make sure that anybody here, too, realize, like, we shouldn't be jumping to a conclusion of, oh, my God, I can't believe this teacher did this. She should be fired. Like, that would be the exact opposite of what we need to do. I want to find, like, why did you do this? Why? Like, did you know what this book was about? Why did you think it was appropriate for a 10-year-old child? Damn. Chanel says, I was in middle school when a kid committed suicide at school. It was rough at that age, let alone to learn about at 10. Ortiz says, I've had 2 friends that died from suicide, and it affected me even now that I'm in my 30s. The name of the book is called R.I.P Eliza Hart. And it might be a great book. I don't think you should ban books like this. I'm not for that. That's not what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm arguing with people who I think are trying to argue with me in my own head, which is why I get a little animated. Or I think I get a little bit louder than I probably should be. But yeah, I think this needs to there needs to be a discussion here, and I think it needs to be an open discussion to figure some stuff out.
I think we're reading the Magic School Bus in 4th grade.
Yeah, Chanel says you're correct. The teacher needs the opportunity to correct her behavior and learn to be better. That's all that's all I'm asking. And the one thing I really battled with, because I mean, this really it takes a lot. I mean, a lot to bother me about something, to really get to me, but this really got to me here. Like, to the point it was all that was on my brain this morning. Like, my poor mom is having to listen to me vent about this on the phone earlier. Frank says, unfortunately, either political beliefs or personal beliefs sometimes overtake common sense. Yeah. So, yeah, we just got to figure out what the hell is going on here, man. Like, it's just, I think that was a pretty big faux pas. And we just need to figure out why in the world she thought this was an acceptable book for a 10-year-old child. But what I was battling with was, I don't want to overreact to the situation, because if I overreact to the situation, it's only going to make my kid read it more. You know what I mean?
Forbidden fruit.
There it is. See? Tyler knows what's up. And that's why, like, with my, I don't want to say punishment last night, but my consequence was, look, until you finish Harry Potter, you're not reading another book. Once again, it doesn't even have to be Harry Potter. Just finish a book, kid. Please, for the love of God, finish a book. I asked her what the last book she finished was, and it was this, it was a book on Gravity Falls, which, by the way, Gravity Falls, amazing show, but that's not the kind of book that I want her to finish reading. I want her to finish an actual storied book. The Gravity Falls one was more like a comic. But anyway, that's enough on this topic. I don't want to bring everybody down. I think it's just something that happened, and it was really bugging me this morning. And I wanted to get some feedback from you guys. I wanted to know, am I crazy for how I reacted to this? Was the teacher actually in the wrong? Am I like this? I just needed some feedback, and I appreciate, because again, My life is here at home, so I'm bouncing ideas off my dogs. I appreciate you guys chiming in and letting me know everything that's going on there and kind of, again, if you don't agree with me, please, by all means, you can put something like that as well.